So we're on another episode of our Credible Business Series. Today we're here with Blue Wave Plumbing, and this is Matt.
Hey, how are you?
The owner and founder of Blue Wave Plumbing. So we're just going to go through and talk a little bit about how you started the business and where you're at now. But
Wonderful.
The first question I have is why plumbing and what made you start Blue Wave?
Plumbing. I needed something out of high school and a job came up and that's how I got it. You know, a buddy of mine was like, hey, I got some work for you. I came in just not really expecting anything, and here we are 20 years later.
Oh, wow. I don't know any of this, by the way.
Yeah.
We've hung out, but I haven't heard any of this. So that's when your experience started, was 20 years ago.
Yes, I was 18, fresh out of high school. A friend of mine went into the pipe fitter section of the union, and I said, hey, you know, I'm kind of job to job working at the restaurants, and I need something more long-term.
Oh.
So they got me hooked up with the right people, and before you know it, within a week, I was signed up making $11.10 an hour.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
for my first job.
That's awesome. And then from there, how long were you doing that job, and how did it lead you to eventually opening the business?
So the first job was actually at the Breakers Hotel in West Palm. And
No
it
way.
was pretty terrible, actually. The job was really dirty, lots of different personalities. It was hot, it was in the middle of summer.
Did you work at in those suites or?
Yes, so
Okay.
we remodeled. So at the time I started, they were remodeling different sections of the hotel. So
Okay.
they would gut one wing of the entire hotel from the top down, and then we'd go behind, we'd redo all the plumbing, all the drainage from the ACs down. So for all the toilets, tubs, sinks, showers, and all the HVAC systems.
Oh my gosh, that's a very good experience.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, it was out of control, but it was cool. It was great. And then at one point I was like, oh my gosh, this is grueling. For this kind of money, who in their right mind would do this for the rest of their life? You know,
Yeah.
and again, like I said, it just worked. And before you know it, here we are, you know, and I'm able to do really nice things for myself and my family.
Well, yeah,
It's
the
great.
people that do it for the rest of their life are the ones owning the business, not the ones that,
That's-
well, and maybe some that
It's
are,
in and out.
yes, yeah.
It's in and out.
So you work at the Breakers, and then how long ago did you open Blue Wave?
Blue Wave, I was an employee, W-2 employee in 2023. Come 2023, I just realized that I was living my life by the hour.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't worth it. So
As a plumber?
As a plumber,
Okay.
yeah. I was a plumber, basically running the business, and I was like, you know what, we gotta do something different. And
Yeah.
my life was just really not going anywhere. And like I said, I was literally watching the clock. So I felt like I was just living by my 8-hour day. And then I started in August of 2023. I started an LLC for a home services business, and then studied while I was working because I still had to support the family.
Yeah.
And then I got my license at the end of the year 2023. So ever since then,
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
So it's,
3 years. We're
Yeah.
working on our 3rd year.
and how did it start? So it was just you, or did you immediately hire somebody?
Yeah, so I had to go right back to work because work stops, bills don't. So
No.
I just went right back to work, and I was actually working out of the back of my personal truck.
Okay.
So yeah, I bought a topper for the back of my personal truck, and luckily we made some good life decisions, so I didn't have a ton of overhead.
Okay.
My truck was paid off, and I just worked out of the back of my personal truck for a while, and then slowly but surely made a little bit, and then I moved into a work van. We secured a job with the Army Corps of Engineers as a subcontractor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
That was how long in?
That was within the first couple months. I was actually having lunch with a friend, and he joked and said, hey, we got this job, do you want it? And I thought he was just kind of pulling my leg, and sure enough, he called me back on more of like a serious note and said, hey, would you want this job?
Wow.
He kind of showed me the plans, and it was for 32,000 feet of 6-inch conduit for the A2 reservoir. And we actually kind of spearheaded that project for those guys. We were technically a different company, but it was my team.
Okay.
And myself and 3 other guys put 32,000 feet of 6-inch conduit in the ground for way less money than what it should have been, because they bid the job wrong. So
Oh my gosh.
2 weeks into it, I found the reason why we were there was because they couldn't afford to do the job because it was completely underbid by thousands.
Wow.
We were able to come through and get it done in the allotted amount of time, actually less time than what they were doing it with double the equipment, double the manpower.
Did you eat it on that one?
No.
Wow.
We actually made money. We made
Wow.
money. Yeah, they didn't make any money, but they were able to get the project done and move on to the
So you
next
saved
one.
them.
We saved their.
Yeah,
we saved
yeah,
their butt,
and
yeah.
you didn't eat it.
I would say we saved them 100% because They told me they couldn't believe it. We had other subs on the job that just couldn't believe that we got the job done. But
You should have that as your tagline. We saved the Army Corps of Engineers.
yeah, I mean, literally, these guys that we were working under, they were some type of an engineer. We went in and we did it. They couldn't do it. They had 14 guys. They had double the equipment, so their job spend was double what we were spending. And we were driving 2 hours there and back every single day out past Belglade, like on the West Coast, to do this project.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was like an hour and 30 and then 30 minutes once we got to the front
Holy.
gate to get to the back where the project was.
And this
It was
is
like 30
in 2023, like right after you.
2023, we were fresh.
Wow.
I was still driving my personal truck.
Wow, that is wild. So
Yeah.
that's like one of your first jobs.
That was like what really got us kicked off. And then we had the hurricanes over there that went through and ruined a bunch of houses, and I was doing it by myself.
Oh.
So I was actually doing 20-hour days.
Were you doing Belglade?
This was in St. Pete. It was like St. Pete, Belglade. It was like in this general area. 2 separate projects, but within the same. The Belglade project was a little bit closer, but in that same period of time, we were kind of doing both.
Were you coming home every day?
Every day.
Oh my
We were
god.
doing 18 to 20-hour days. Was
Holy.
how I got started. I was making $2,000 a day to go over there and back, so it was worth it.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. You know, I was leaving at 3:30 in the morning to be to the job by 5:36. I would work a 12-hour day and then I'd come back. So it was literally 16 to 18-hour days. For,
Holy moly.
I'd say 3 to 4 months is how I got this all really off the ground. Because I started with $0.
Wow.
A brand new bank account, no money.
Wow.
Zero.
Holy moly. I can't
Yeah.
even imagine. I mean, it must have done something to your confidence though to be like, all right, I'm going to go out on my own. And then one of the first jobs you land is this huge job that you think you'd need probably like
$80,000 job.
Okay, yeah. You wouldn't think that they'd hire someone that just started their business,
And-
you know, but the confidence you get from that, like, wow, all I have to do is people do business with people they know, like, trust.
That's
So
it.
if you can build
Yeah.
that with them, whether or not you've been in business for a long time,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, wow, this is going to work.
And we actually went in, and when we got to about the 3rd week of the project, I started seeing all these things that weren't told to me. And they made it sound like, yep, it's gonna be straight lines. Half of the levee isn't even there, so you're not gonna even have to dig the full amount. When we got there, everything was done. So what we were told was
Oh my
like
God.
gonna be this walk in the park, a lot of stuff's gonna be just laid on top of the ground, was not true. So we found out that we were basically set up for failure. They knew that this job was not able to be done when they gave us the job. And that's why we were there, because basically we were set up for failure. And we actually not only finished the job on time, we actually finished with $5,000 more money than what. So we actually got a check, and I wrote half of that check to my guy that kind of really helped me get the job done for his gas and all his expenses.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to pay for any of the expenses throughout the job, and he was making like a lot. He was making a lot of money.
Yeah, wow.
So, you know, and granted, he was working really hard, but he did really well.
Wow.
And left with no expenses.
And taking care of people like that, I feel like, is something that if you know that from the front end, that's going to pay off. I mean, some people really want to, I don't want to say that they're stingy, but like, you know, you want to
They're
watch
greedy.
costs, you get greedy.
Yeah.
But really, I feel like you pay it forward like that with somebody, they give it right back with their time and their loyalty.
You hope that that's the case.
The right person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, we get good and bad.
Yes.
But I feel like you're setting them up proper when you take care of them in so many different ways. It helps to take care of your people, because if they're happy, they're going to do happy work.
Yeah.
They'll show up happy. They're going to treat your customers with respect. They're going to treat them as if they're happy.
And with ownership too, because it's like, if I do well, I'm going to get compensated for it.
100%.
Yes, which I think is something like, if somebody's gonna get paid at the same amount no matter what they do, I'll tell you where to go to see what that looks like, a DMV.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
at a government office, yeah.
It's terrible. And,
Yeah.
you know, we pay our guys based on performance. You know,
Yeah.
if they're performing good, they do good. And if they want to take a slow day and they don't want to work or they don't want to perform, then it reflects
In their paycheck. Yes.
You know,
You don't even have to reprimand them, it just does it on its own.
it's the same for me as an owner.
Yes.
If we don't go out and perform well, we don't perform well as a business.
Yes.
You know, so it kind of gives them some level of accountability, because let's face it, we're human.
Yeah.
Humans follow trends.
Yes.
You know, and if you just keep paying them $25 or whatever it might be, they're going to follow that trend. They eventually are going to realize, hey, I can do this much and still make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So based on the performance, it just works for them.
From a customer perspective, it's cool to know that a company you're hiring does that, because if the person that's going out to do the job, 'cause it's not always the owner coming out to do the job.
No.
If the person going out to do the job doesn't have any stake in whether or not it's going to be quality work, do you really want to call that company?
That's exactly right.
Especially when it comes to plumbing.
Yeah, that's it. We
Yeah.
can cause a lot of problems, and things happen. We're not magicians. We're
No.
really good at what we do, but the biggest thing is standing behind what you do, whether it's good or bad. And that's something we pride ourselves in, is we don't let anything go. We don't start new projects. If there's an issue, that's taken care of first. That
Yes.
is our main priority, because let's face it, we're human. Things do happen.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
not like they happen not often, but when they do happen, we spearhead it. We are right on top of it. It's our number one priority. We
Yes.
take care of it.
So we're careful on this series to not interview people that aren't credible to our knowledge.
Yeah.
Obviously, why would we do that? And something I've heard across the board, and I've interviewed a lot of service industries like painters, plumbers, property managers, something that sets people apart and the kind of businesses that I believe thrive and go on for years and years and years are the ones that don't just care about the job in front of them, but they care about the jobs behind them. Because
Absolutely.
even though you have that paycheck already, if you stop caring the second you get the paycheck, I swear it catches up with you. Like, it
Absolutely.
will not. The repeat customers, referrals,
Yeah,
those are, I think, what grow a business is like in a sustainable way.
absolutely.
And that's the thing I've seen across the board, hands down, for
Because
sure.
let's face it, if we're losing customers, we got to get new customers some way. And if it's not from word of mouth because you're really not that good, you're going to be spending a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually, it will catch up to you in a small town.
It will, yeah.
It's just too small.
Oh, yeah, leave it to the Facebook mom groups.
Oh my gosh.
Specifically in the plumbing industry, what do you think separates a good plumber from a great plumber, or a good plumbing company from a great plumbing company?
There's a lot of guys that have the skills, but there's more to it than me just showing up and fixing your plumbing problem.
Yeah.
It all starts with, how are you greeted? When you call me, do we answer? If we don't answer, do we return your call? With me, I try very hard to always be the one that answers the phone.
Yes.
And as we grow, it gets a little bit more difficult. But
Yeah.
I have something in place now to where 90% of the time when you call, you're getting somebody, whether it's me or it's Tasha, my assistant, somebody's going to answer that phone. So you feel like what you need to say at that moment, because let's face it, most times when you have a plumbing problem, it's stressful.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
want to talk to somebody right away. For example, you call the IRS. You can't get in
Here
touch
we
with
go.
anybody. You can't call anybody. They don't answer half the time. They tell you to call back the next day. And let's face it, these are stressful things that you have to sleep on.
Yeah.
People lose sleep over that kind of stuff. We're answering, not to mention when we show up, if it's not myself, it's one of my technicians. And at the moment, each one of my technicians has 15 to 20 years plus in the field experience. My main guy, my right-hand man, he has been doing it. It's his only job. He's
Yeah.
never done anything else.
Yeah.
Again, is standing behind the work. Let's face it, a lot of things, you don't know if it's right or wrong. Things can go...
It can be a guess sometimes, or trial and error, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
it could.
Yeah.
It could. And we always return your call. We always answer. If you need us, we're always right there. We only manage an area that's 30 square miles.
And
so,
it's manageable for you guys.
yeah. So, and another thing is the same day. If you call me and you tell me, Matt, this needs to be done today, we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, we're
Well,
gonna
we've become friends. We were on dinner the other night. You almost left dinner to do it, so I believe it. And also, I actually had the privilege of, before I even met you, using your company for our stuff.
Oh
and
my
it
gosh.
was 100% what happened. It wasn't you that came. It was a really, really friendly guy.
Yeah.
Very comfortable having him in the house. It's crazy because you're right. I don't think I've ever called a plumber and not been a little stressed out. I mean,
Every time.
yes, you're not coming to fix things that are no big deal.
Deadlines, leaks.
People are turning their water
damage.
off until you
Yeah.
get there. All the time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
hopefully.
don't realize how much you need your water, and
Yeah.
that's just cold water. We're not even
Yeah.
talking hot water.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, how many of your wives or daughters or just people in general want to take a cold shower?
No,
Even when it's 100 degrees outside.
No.
It's rare.
Yeah.
So, and
especially women.
that's it. And we understand it.
Yeah.
So, and our biggest thing is that we're not here unless we have customers.
Yeah.
Our customers are our number one priority.
Yes.
No matter what. And there's this saying, customers aren't always right. Well, we like to think that a lot of times we're going to listen to you and we're going to decide whether you're right or wrong.
Yeah,
But we're going to listen to everything you have to say, and we're going to follow your lead.
Yeah.
We're not going to try and direct that ship. We're not driving that boat. We're just there to help.
Yeah, I feel like so many people fight or just like their highest intention in a conversation is to be right rather than to hear the other person.
And we're finding that now predominantly these guys that are in vans across the board are doing more sales work than plumbing work.
Yeah.
They're pushed to sell. And sure, do we want our guys to look and see if there's things that look at a place or might be a problem in a week or two or a year? Sure, we want our guys to we have open eyes. We don't want the tunnel vision, but my guys 100% are not on your job to sell.
We are in a world where you can't open your phone, you can't turn your head without being sold. And we're in an economy where things are so expensive, and you're coming out to do an essential repair.
Yeah.
It's not something like, hey, I'm redoing my floors. It's like, hey, I need this water to be running, or hey, I need the leak to stop. And so I feel like that's something that people absolutely value in this time more than any time, is that like, hey, thanks for coming to just help me with no vendetta or no extra motive that you're gonna try to make the most off me that you can. Or as a woman too, like a lot of times I'm like, if a vendor is coming, I want my husband home, not because I'm afraid, but because I don't want to be taken advantage of with pricing. I'm like, whatever, I don't know what you're saying.
That's right, because they use the scare tactics. Yes. And if these guys say that it's not out there, they're lying. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
They scare you.
100%.
You know? And let's face it, it's water, so we know what to expect if something goes wrong. So when somebody puts something in front of you, it's hard to say no, but does it need to be done now? So that's another big thing with us, is that we don't just do things without educating our customers.
Yes.
You know, if we're doing something, we're explaining X, Y, Z. This is why we need to do it. This is why it needs to happen now, next week, next year. And there's no pressure ever. Because one thing, God willing, we are busy to where we're not having to create work for ourselves.
Yeah, or scam people.
Right, because let's face it, the scare tactic is there where, they'll just make you feel like it's gotta be done. And it just happens all over the place. And that's another thing, is that I've not, especially my right-hand man, we haven't only worked together here, we've actually worked together in the professional industry and other businesses. So,
that's awesome, I didn't know that.
So we know what's happening in this world. So we really try hard to be better than the next guy, because there are other guys that can change a toilet or change a faucet.
Yeah.
We shine because we don't only do those things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately nowadays, they're just putting bodies in trucks that can do the simple tasks. We can do it all, most times right on site, right on the fly. It shows its face, we can handle it right away.
Yes.
So within 30 minutes, you call, if we're available, we're there, because we're 10 to 15 minutes away most times. We're doing the job.
Yeah, and that's huge. There's nothing wrong with growth and expansion, but I do think what often can happen when a business gets into multiple counties, or to the point where there's so many technicians that the owner doesn't even know them all.
Right.
That's where you lose that
integrity.
It just gets lost in the sauce. Like the things that make your company so reliable, like the fact that you care when you walk into the door that, like, hey, actually we can get it done today.
Yeah.
And the fact that when someone calls you, you're not 45 minutes or an hour away, which is going to make you less inclined to leave dinner to go do it.
Right.
Like,
100%.
It's going to just feel like absolutely not. In rush hour, this is also tangible. You've kept your company in a way where it's tangible to do a good job. You haven't overextended.
Everything we do is for a reason. We've really thought this out. I've worked for big companies that have these huge zones where they'll have 100-mile area that they have to take care of. And let's face it, you're now depending. That's a big word, dependence. You can't do it all as an owner, no matter what it is. So now we've literally kept it this size for the simple fact that we want to be able to service you when you need us.
Yeah.
Not on our schedule. We want to be able to service you on your schedule, because let's face it, everybody's time is extremely valuable. Yeah. Because there's so many different things going on: family, work, play.
And we're not, not to get weird, but we're not in a time anymore where there's one person home all the time either. It's just absolute chaos to get anything done during the week for a family where both parents work. Like, it's just like absolutely nuts. So it's such a value add that someone can rely on you to come take care of an urgent problem when they need that.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I nothing against anyone growing, but I just think some people grow without keeping those things a priority.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as you've grown, how has your role changed as the owner?
Well, I'm very hands-on. So how has my role changed? My role changed in the fact that I don't do as much work out of my hand tool bag, but I feel like I still stay very busy because I am involved as far as, are my guys doing a good job?
Yeah.
Are we communicating with our customers? Is the material in the shop staying stocked? So all of my vans always have the material in it that's necessary to do jobs on the fly.
Yeah.
Because so many things show their face last minute. And really, the way I'm now not the person that the business depends on to do the work, the business now depends on me to manage the work.
Right.
So I'm managing more of the day-to-day as far as inventory ordering, making sure the guys have what they need to be successful on a day-to-day basis, making sure my guys are taken care of.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Like, Do we have ice in our coolers? Do we have drinks for our day-to-days? Making sure the schedule's set and the jobs are going to the proper technician, because there are certain jobs where one guy might be more comfortable than the other. So the only thing that's changed is really that I'm not under the sink as much anymore, but I'm still on the job.
You're almost like operations and quality assurance.
That's
And that's the thing too. I mean, it sounds like just logistics, but if you apply it to how it helps you actually be able to help people in the moment and not a week later when the part comes in.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, I had to pay you the service call. If I want to stick with you, I got to wait a few more days to even have the problem resolved. So it's a huge part of someone having experience with your company and wanting to call you again.
Absolutely. And it really is. My days are busy. They're still very busy. I'm not just like sitting in an office anywhere. That was always my biggest pet peeve, is that working for somebody who wasn't also working, because my big thing is that when my guys see that I pull my tools out and I get in a hole or I dig a hole or I get muddy or dirty or wet, they know that I mean business. I'm never going to ask them to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So the respect I get from my employees is, I believe, it's important to me. It's extremely important to me, because I'm not just bossing people around.
There are plenty of business owners that don't know how to do the tasks that they're instructing other people to do.
That's exactly
And there's, no matter who tells you what, that's going to be an issue.
100%.
It's going to be an issue with employee retention, with expectations, with
quality.
Quality.
Because you don't know what you're looking at.
No.
It could look okay, but a lot of times you have to be able to
if
look at it.
If your technicians know more than you have a problem.
That's a problem.
Yes, for sure.
Because then they end up running the business.
and running you,
And unfortunately, they don't know how to do that.
No.
Because
there are so many different skill sets that we're blessed with as humans. Some people get lucky enough to have the trade ability that you have and morph it into a successful business, which takes a million different hats.
Oh.
And some people just stick, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they stick to the trade, and that's what they're good at.
That's what they like, that's what they want, and that's okay. And that's where I
Yes, exactly.
Because my guys, I basically set everything up. They just have to tip the ball in. They just have to go do what they're the best at, and that's being the best plumbing
technician. And that's all they
technician.
should have to do, getting paid as an employee. That's a good boss, And so what's been the biggest challenge growing the business? I don't know if you've, from what I've seen, it just feels like there's a lot of work for
it's
you.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, because I came into this, I knew how to do the plumbing side of things, but let's face it, the plumbing side is the easiest part of this entire thing. Going in and changing a toilet or a faucet or a water heater or finding a leak. We know how to do that. I've been doing it for 10, 15 years. The hard part is that what does it actually take to manage and maintain a business with this many moving parts? Because every single day you have to spend money to make money.
Yes.
So if you're doing a certain amount of money, you have to expect there's also a certain amount of money that's going out for you to make that.
Yeah.
So we have to manage all that. We have to make sure. I mean, most people have a cell phone bill, they have a mortgage payment, water, electric, maybe an HOA.
Yeah.
I mean, your simple day to day.
Yeah.
Well, here we're dealing with 5 to 10 different suppliers. We've got parts we're ordering on Amazon, parts we're ordering from third party vendors.
Yeah.
It's insanity. Plus you've got payroll for 2, 3, 4 guys. You've got people working in different countries in some circumstances, which we do have, Tasha. And then all the different paperwork that goes out to even start a job properly. Contracts being a big one. How you report everything you're doing. Because let's face it now, you're making money.
Yeah.
You're not getting a W-2.
Yeah.
So now you have to report all this you're doing, and you have to report it properly, because if you don't report it properly, you might be more or less taxes. You might owe money at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You've got to report payroll. You've got different numbers now, because now it's not just a social security number. You have EIN numbers.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get 2, which we have. We've been battling the IRS for over a year now.
Oh, gosh.
And we still get the same letter every single month that says we need more time. And it's been 1 year. So that's the part they don't tell you about. And then just managing customers, period.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I can say is that you cannot make everybody happy.
No.
They want somebody's day to be bad.
Yes.
And they're going to make sure that, if you're that pound that lands in that square, they're going to take you for a ride. And that's the hardest part, because I take this serious. I'm very, very personal. I don't ever want to be that guy where people are like, oh, there's that guy that did this or did that. That's negative. I want to be the best.
Yeah.
Not because somebody's lying and just is trying to make me look good because they like me as a person. I want to be the best. I want to be the best company. I want to be the guy that communicates. I want to be the guy that shows up on time. But let's face it, like you said earlier, things have gotten so expensive that it is surprising sometimes when we send a bill or we give a quote, because cost of goods have gone through the roof.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then cost of labor has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, if you want somebody that's not skilled, that you're kind of rolling the dice on whether or not you're going to get a flood or a leak or whatever it might be, then I understand that, but I can't live like that. So the hardest part, I think, is really learning how to not take things so personal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because this is a business and we're not here to make friends. You
Yeah.
know, we want people to be happy with us. We want to be friendly with people, but we're not doing this to grow our friend group on social media.
Yeah,
or anything
no.
like that. We're doing this to support our family.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, if you're not the villain in somebody's story, then you haven't left your house. Like, it's,
I 100% agree.
yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's why I think that the phrase "customer's always right" has evolved. I think the people that lean toward the customer's always right and I don't need to be right are going to be more successful. But then there are the Karens of the world that you just can't give the energy to, and you just have to let them think that you're the worst. And
we just have to get to the bottom of, we have to get to the root of the issue.
Yeah.
Once we get to the root of the issue, we can work through what exactly is your issue. Why is it an issue? Is it on me? Is it on you?
Yeah.
Most of the time it is on us, if there's a problem.
Yeah, plumbing is a problem-solving business. There's always a problem.
Always
If there weren't
thinking on our
problems,
feet.
then what would you be, like, what would you do?
We don't have a lot of time to really think it through most times.
Yeah,
we just, what can we do now to try and get your issue fixed? What's it gonna cost? Because cost is huge, it's very important for people.
Yeah.
But again, it's not $10. It's not like going to McDonald's and going through the I mean, even McDonald's now is $25 for a Happy Meal. I feel like you can't even go to fast food. But that's a big thing for people, is that we just have to, I can't take things so personal.
No, yeah.
Because we just have to be, it's just like anything else. What's going on? How did we get here? How do we fix it?
Yeah.
Some people just aren't willing to give you the opportunity.
They just want to remain angry. But
they want to react.
Yeah. I think though that it says a lot about a business owner when that's one of the things they struggle with, is like, wow, I'm not always going to be everyone's favorite person. Because it comes from a place of, I want to do the right thing by people, and I never want to, in a perfect world, for me as a people pleaser, I'd like to put my head on the pillow every night and say, we're all on the same page about everything.
Right.
But if that is your goal, you'll be miserable. Especially in a problem-solving industry like plumbing.
It's tough. It's really tough. And you know, like I said, it's just some people have unrealistic expectations, and at the end of the day we do come to the conclusion that, hey, maybe we're just not.
And that's okay.
And that's fine. That's fine. Because something's working.
Yeah.
Something we're doing, a lot of things that we're doing are working. And we see that every year as we grow.
Yes.
We just started doing marketing actually last week. So,
which says, like, with the growth that you've had, it says a lot, because that means all of the growth that you've had has been from word of mouth referrals, which is so powerful. It's probably the best. The fact that you just started marketing and you've been growing steadily, right, over the last 3 years is insane.
By 40 to 50%.
Good for you.
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. This last year we grew by 100%.
That's amazing.
We literally doubled our business from start till now. We started, like I said, in the back of my truck, a couple $100,000 a year, to now doing well over $1 million a year.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, in 3 years.
Wow.
With no knowledge, no college background.
Yeah.
You know, we were dirt floor poor. You know, my parents worked really hard to get me to where I am today.
I feel like a lot of the decisions that you make as the owner of your business, how you treat your employees, how you keep your service area small, how you make sure that you're not going to take anything on that you're not available to actually service, how you make sure that your employees and you don't overpromise and underdeliver. You make sure that you're the first one to answer the phone. Those are all things that customers feel. If you skimp on one of those, I would argue that you probably wouldn't have seen the growth that you've seen.
100%.
It's apparent, and I just think so many business owners that are just looking at the money and they're like, why can't I grow?
Right.
People don't feel the love.
You know? Yeah, they don't. And unfortunately now there's just so much money circulating out there, private equity being one of the big ones. These guys think that they can just come out and buy a plumbing company and be successful because they've done it in fields where they're pros in, but at the end of the day, they don't know it.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen it firsthand where lots and lots of money, lots of it comes in. They offer way more money than what the business is worth. They come in and try and run it their way. And I say it in quotations because it's their way and how they've been successful in other businesses. Yeah. And it just doesn't work. Yeah. Especially in a town like Martin County. Yeah. It's just not industrial. It's not commercial. So when you run it like a big industry or a commercial business, it doesn't work.
No, it's a big small pound.
It's a big small town.
It really is.
People love the idea that when they call me, they're like, hey, what's happening? I know you by your first name.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I know you by your last name. I know you by your address. When you call, it's like, oh yeah, that's Mrs. Jones. We just did this at her house on this, you know.
And I will say too, I thought, because John, my husband, had met you guys knew each other, but I thought whoever came out was you because of the way that they acted.
Yeah.
I didn't think that it was like just some guy getting paid $20 an hour just
right. A commissioned employee.
Yeah.
They all act as if it's their own.
Like an ownership vibe
Yeah.
off of him.
Because if this is gone, I mean, this isn't a great opportunity just for me. I want this to be an opportunity for the people to take care of me too. And that would be my guys. That would be the guys and girls, you know. I want the best for them. I want their families to be taken care of, you know, as long as they're doing the right thing, obviously. But yeah, I want all of that. I want this to be like the place for them, you know, because again, we have to do this. This is not something we have a choice.
No, you're making a way for, you know, that's rare. It's not an easy time in history to provide for a family.
No.
To just have the basics is a struggle for a lot of people, and it used to just be like a no-brainer, it's not. And so when you're thinking outside yourself, I feel like it comes back to you, and it's very obvious.
And it really is true. Like, I really do care about my guys more than just somebody who works for me.
Yeah.
Because I would not be able to do this without them, and I stress that to them every single day, you know, down to the way we show ourselves. Like, you know, it's very important the way we look, the way we speak, the way we do our business. All of those things are just heavily put into our day-to-day, our day-to-day functionality. Is that's what we do on a day-to-day basis. We don't leave the shop without really just like, how's your day going? Are you guys having a good day? What do you need?
Yeah, there's a genuine care and team, a sense of a team. And that's definitely just not the case in other companies. If someone is choosing a plumbing company, what would be red flags you'd tell them to look out for? How would you tell them to make a decision based on their first interaction with the company?
Really, just how do they present themselves? One, you want them to look good. You want them to look the part, you know, because what we see too often than not is that people come in, they take a deposit, and then they underdeliver. And then once that happens, you just have to be careful. You really have to look back and look, who are they involved with?
Yeah.
Who are the people that they're bringing in on your jobs? Like, are they people you've heard of? Have they done work for people you've heard of? Because Martin County, let's face it, it's small. Yeah. You know, if you go on to Facebook or Instagram or Google, we are a very small business. Yeah. That does a lot. We do a lot of volume for us down there. We're a very small, big company, I like to say. Yeah. But you can go at any time of day and post something online, and you are gonna see that you're gonna get a half a dozen to 2 dozen people saying the same exact thing. That is a good, you know, and nowadays you cannot hide from being bad. No, you can't. You can't hide. You can't. So, and it's also not a bad idea to get a couple of different quotes. No. Because pricing is all over the place. There's no book like a mechanic that gets this book that says a brake job is 3 hours plus material. It's just, they're not always the same. Yeah. You know, we don't have a book for that. Yeah. We know what our material cost is. We know what our overhead cost is. And then we also have to put in a couple different factors, but sometimes people overextend themselves and expect you to make up for that. Yeah. That's not fair to the customer. No. So there is a fine line of, hey, is it better to go with this guy for a little bit more rather than go for this guy? Because everybody says, oh, well, the cheap guy is not always the best route, which is predominantly true. Like, typically that's true. I feel like if somebody is blowing everyone else's price out of the water and it sounds too good to be true, there's a good chance. So 2 out of 3, if they're close, the third guy's just way out, and these other 2 guys are pretty close, that's when I'd say do a little bit more research on who that person is as a person. Yeah. Are they a good guy? And a lot of times, my price, I might not be a good fit for you even based on price. It's rare, but I give you the benefit of the doubt to say, you know what, I just don't like working with this guy. Yeah. Because it is a huge project. Most times we're dealing with somebody's primary residence, which you're spending most of your time with. Yeah. You know, we want to make sure that I'm gonna work with you, I'm giving you the information you want, and you know what, if my price is good but you don't like me, by all means, I don't want you to feel pressure to work with me. You know? Yeah, so I think it's really healthy and important for business owners to have that mindset and to let themselves go there and say, I don't have to be everyone's number one fit.
And I think that on both sides we should decide, but in my experience, working with someone that you don't work well with takes up way too much time.
Yeah.
Because it's just clashing,
Right.
and it keeps you from being able to do the easy.
That's right.
When I say easy, it's not easy jobs, it's just easy people to work with.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like, we get type A, we get type B,
Yeah.
we get people that want to drive the whole project. That's fine. I'll take a step back when I notice that, and I'll let you drive. And when you need me, I'm there.
Yeah.
With open arms. I'm there with open arms. I'm ready to go. And back to it, you know, you get a lot of these guys that are working out of their girlfriend's Nissan Altima, and you know, they back in and they start pulling tools out of the trunk of a car, and you got to think their car looks like crap, their clothes are terrible, they're not really respectful of your home.
Stop.
You got to think, like, what are they going to give you? Like,
You're working out of your girlfriend's Nissan.
it happens all the time.
That's
It's like,
so
you know,
funny.
I'm gonna borrow your car, you know? It's like, well, what are you up
Yeah.
to? Oh, I got a little side job to do, you know?
Yeah.
And it happens. We deal with it all the time where it's like, well, we can go to Home Depot and get it for this. Well, you can,
Yeah.
but there's a difference. There's a reason why we are successful.
Yes.
And it's not
Yeah.
because, is it because I'm cheap? No, it's not because I'm cheap. But it's because we really are providing a good service.
Well, you're paying for the service. Yeah, you can go to Home Depot and do the trial and error with your plumbing, have fun. You're paying for someone that knows what they're doing, that you hopefully won't wake up to a trickle from, you know, your
That's
bathroom.
It's your
So-
most prized possession.
Yeah.
It's most people's largest investment
Is
is
their
their
home.
home.
Yeah.
You know, so just like today, we just had a call where the guy, this is no joke, this was just an hour ago, we had a water heater that blew up, and listen, it's $2,000, you know, it's on a stand, it needs power upgrade, it needs all the plumbing redone, it's a lot. But people are put in a position where they have to start making irrational or rational decisions because they don't really have the money to do it. And the reason why this happened is because it's taken so long. Well, they need me to sit there and be the word and tell them, look, I understand you don't have the money, but remember, this just caused all this damage, and you're considering fixing what just caused all this damage. We can't do that.
Yeah,
we need to replace it.
No,
you know?
for
And that's
sure.
where I need to make that difficult decision in putting this person in a somewhat uncomfortable position, and now they're going to have to finance this with a credit card.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them the right information when they need it to make that proper decision at the end of the day that's going to keep them from harm's way for
Yes.
many years moving forward.
Whereas some other businesses or plumbers might say, sure, whatever, I'll fix it, and not worry about the outcome. And at the end of the day, even if
just
it's
don't
not
care.
fun for them to hear,
Right.
you're going to end up here again after your insurance claim
That's
comes
right.
through and your floors are all replaced.
That's
Do you
right.
want them to get wet again?
That's
you
right.
know?
And
Yeah.
for so many reasons, we just, you know, you just got to make sure that the people that you're using are giving you the information you need for what you need,
Yeah.
not what you want. Because let's face it, we like to see these sexy things that are like, you know, it doesn't matter how much they are, but do you really need it? You know,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
really need to spend that money? And at the end of the day, we're not out to give you answers based on what you're spending. It's based on your actual needs.
Yes, and that goes back to, you guys, money's not number one. I think people can smell that.
Yeah.
They can smell that because we are in a world where, like, anybody can start a website, anybody can use the internet to advertise themselves. The bait and switch is like half the things you walk into, and so people are just hyper aware of that. When you find an honest company, I would say this: a small company where someone's coming up and their girlfriend's Nissan Altima, maybe not a company, maybe just a dude. Don't go there. And then also, the other thing I see is like the big corporate companies where I know the dude that's walking in here he's on an iPad filling out the questionnaire.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, just go. And
Yeah.
then they want to charge me $175 for him to go tell me what we need.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. And that's another thing. It's like, we don't need to charge every time we go.
No.
Because, you know, we do take the good with the bad here. You
Yeah.
know, because we understand. We come to you because you need us. You need our help.
Yeah.
If you want me to come out and take a look at your whole house, I'm going to do that. You know why? Because you might not need me now, but you will need me someday. And you're going to remember, you know what?
That guy.
That guy, Matt, he took an hour, 2 hours out of his day to come by to give me a little peace of mind that everything looked good.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time where people are like, oh wow, you mean I don't need to spend $2,000 or $500 or $10? Like, no, you don't really need. I mean, you can, but I don't think it's necessary.
You don't take advantage of people's lack of
We
knowledge.
can't.
Yeah.
We can't because
No, and it's
it will
paying
happen.
off.
And it is.
Yeah.
It really is, because the small jobs turn into big jobs,
Yeah.
and the big jobs turn into small jobs, and they're both good in different times.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll take it all.
Our world needs more of that right now. So,
Oh,
yeah.
We just need more honesty.
Yeah.
You know, we really do.
In time, people are in such a rush. You want my presence and you're not paying me for it right now. there's no investment in the possible business anymore. It's
That's
like,
right.
you can pay me for my presence and then decide whether or not
However
you
it
like me
works out, it
after.
works
Yeah,
out.
and I get it to a certain extent, but it's refreshing, and I feel like when people watch this, they'll really see the difference. So I really appreciate your
Yeah.
time so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
thank
it.
you.
That's great.